Happy Thanksgiving, money magnets and master traders. So great to see everybody. Hope you guys are enjoying this holiday with your friends and your family and all your loved ones. I wanted to make a video today to prepare us for tomorrow because the market will be open until 1 p.m. Eastern time. So it's going to close a few hours earlier than usual, but it will be open. So I figured just in case you guys decide to trade, I wanted to help us prepare. Catching a level-to-level move, couple of level-to-level moves can make us a few hundred to a few $1,000s. Why not? Enter the weekend very nice when we can make some money. Speaking of making some money, yesterday on Thanksgiving Eve, we had one nice setup. I was watching a 677 level and a 679 level, and I let my Discord members know so far this morning, SPY has been range bound between my 677 to 679 levels. Watch for the break to get the next potential intraday trend move. If 679 clears, 681 incoming to test the daily chart downtrend line. As always, trust no rejection unless a support fails. Talking about 677 to put those lower targets in play. If no setup triggers, we stay in cash. So what I meant was my 677 level was right here. That's this trend line, horizontal line. And of course, the 679 level. Yesterday morning, it was chopping between those two levels, but eventually it broke out 679 on the 15-minute chart, and it gave us a nice level-to-level move. But after that, it didn't give us much else, but it was nice for a level-to-level move. Maybe we made a few hundred to a couple $1,000s, depending on your size, how much size you go in on for your trade. But now we have to get ready for tomorrow. If nothing happens tomorrow, Uncle will make another video next Sunday to prepare us for the week. And it's very important what happened, because SPY went in hit for the third time my downtrend line. What happens next will be very important. Now, one of three things can happen, and that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. We can either get a breakout, which would be very bullish and should send us to new all-time highs. We can reject, which would be bearish, possibly send us back a few levels down, or maybe, just maybe, to previous lows or lower lows. So bears would love that one. And of course, there's always the chance that we can chop and consolidate. Two of those scenarios would be bullish, a breakout and chop. If we break out, obviously, that will put SPY in breakout mode and we can expect more upside. If we chop, which is definitely not what I want, but it can happen sometimes. But if we chop, it could be SPY setting up for a breakout for next week. And of course, we can break down and send us back to previous lows, previous support levels. So in today's video, I want to talk about what it would look like and how we're going to trade it. So let's start off with the bull case. As you guys can see, we officially have 3 touches, 3 tests as resistant for this trend line. And tomorrow, if we clear 681, that would put SPY in breakout mode. 679 to the 681 area would put SPY in breakout mode. And I would favor we go hit new all-time high. Well, previous all-time high. Take it one level at a time. I have 683, 684.5, 686, 688, and the previous all-time pivot high was at 689.7. Those will all be targets if 681 clears. If it is pullback time, as always, Uncle does not trust a rejection from resistance unless it's strong enough to break down support. I have support at 679, 677, and 675.6. If those levels fail, we can expect a nice pullback, maybe $5 to $8 pullback back to the downside. Maybe even to retest some moving averages. We have the 20, the 50, and even the 5. Pretty extended from the 5 daily moving average. In the short term, when it's that far extended, it's usually healthy to pull back a little bit and allow the 5 daily moving average to catch up. And of course, if we do decide, if SPY does decide to chop, the chop range I'd be watching is 675.6 to the 679. Between that zone, Uncle would be neutral. So remember, if we clear and break out resistant levels, we enter calls. If we break down support levels, we enter puts, play it level to level. And if we are chopping, we do nothing. We just sit there like we're fishing, waiting for a bite. Moving on to QQQ. Now, QQQ is actually in breakout mode. Based on this downtrend line, is actually in breakout mode. Look like a bullish breakaway gap. It's a bullish breakaway gap is when we don't get a traditional breakout, but of a trend line. And instead, it just gaps above it. So as long as above 608.6 fib level, I would be bull bias. That keeps QQQ in breakout mode. If there is some bullish follow through, 614.8, 616.2, and 618.7 are my next resistant levels. Those levels clear, we can expect more upside, at least to go fill some gaps around the 632-ish area. That would be a very nice move. Bulls will definitely appreciate that. But if that's not the case and we start pulling back, 613, 611.7, 610, and 608.6 are my support levels. Below 608.6, I will switch back to being bearish because that will put QQQ in false breakout mode and put a lot lower targets in place. 607, 605.5, 604 or much lower. If we get in false breakout mode, could be a nice $10-15 drop back to the downside. Here is Tesla back testing the 20 daily moving average. The level to watch for tomorrow or possibly next week is 427. Not only this is around the 20 daily moving average, but it is a fib level. Above 427, I would be bullish in favor of $15 to $20 pop to the upside. But if it truly rejects 425 and 420 are the levels you want to see fail and break down. Those levels fail and break down, we're likely dropping back to 414 or much lower. I would not be surprised we get like a $10-15, maybe $20+ back to the upside. Tesla is super volatile. And here's NVDA. I do have a chop range for NVDA, 183.5 down to 178.8. So anything in between is neutral territory. But if we want to be bullish, we need to get above 182 and 183.5. I would be bull bias if those levels clear. For me to switch back to being bearish and get out of the neutral territory, 180 and 178.8 must fail. Those levels fail, we are bearish. We should get a $10 to $15 move in either direction, so watch the break of that range. Here is Amazon. It's been bouncing the last few trading days. We'll see if the bounce is over. I have support at 229, 227, 225.5 with 224 and 222.7 below. Those levels fail. What do? We want to enter puts and bet to the downside. We will be bullish or continue to be bullish if the next resistant levels at 230.4 and 232 clear. Okay, above 230.4, Uncle would be bull bias and continue to favor a bounce back to the upside, maybe a $5 to $10 bounce to the upside. Here is Meta. Meta is super volatile. I love this ticker symbol, but I wonder if the bounce is over. If the answer is yes, support level at 231 must fail. If that level fails, go short. We should get a $10 to $15 move back to the upside. Around that range, not quite $15, but between that range, $10 to $15 range would be a very nice short or opportunity to enter puts. But overall, I would be bullish above 631. I would not enter puts unless that level fails. More upside would definitely be possible. Clearing 635 and 638 would put higher targets in place, 639, 641, and 642.87. Above that level, I would be bullish in favor. We go and retest some moving average. The 200 daily moving average is all the way up at 673-ish. Would be very healthy if price can retest that level as resistant or that moving average. But it's only possible we stay above 631. If not and that levels fail, then we most likely dropping back to the downside. Here is Microsoft. We have a doji here. Anytime I see a doji, I identify the chop range, the range of that doji. But I do have fib levels, so I'm going to pay attention to that more. And I have resistance at 486 and 487.77. So if we are to be bullish, those two levels must clear. I would favor a $7 to $10 pop to the upside with 494.74 as a target of mine. But if we are to be bearish, 484 and 482 are support levels. Below 482, I would be bearish in favor. At least a $7 drop back to the downside is a very, very good chance we drop even lower than that. But at minimum, if 482 fails, we should drop at least $7. Here is Apple. Have an inside candle setup here, but more importantly than the inside candle setup is where Apple has been rejecting, which is around my 279.4-ish level. If we ought to be bullish, 279.4 and 281 must clear. I would be bull bias above 281. But if it's time for a pullback, 276.7 is support, and that must fail to put 275 in play. Below 275, I would be bear bias on Apple in favor of $5 to $10 drop to the downside. Apple's not a very volatile ticker symbol. It is a stock that I have in my long-term portfolio. It's pretty steady. It's not too volatile, so it don't drive me too crazy. Easy to hold for the long term, in my opinion. So this is not really a ticker symbol that I like to trade or day trade with, but it's good to watch it because it is a heavy-weighted stock for the S&P 500. I'd like to look at it to help me gauge the SPY. Not too much. I look at the VIX more, but Apple, I believe, can help a little bit. Here's IWM looking bullish right now. The level to watch for tomorrow or next week is 246.38. As long as we stay above that level, IWM is in breakout mode and we can expect more upside. 249 would be resistant, 250.5 and 253 will be my targets to the upside. If you guys want to get bearish or at the very least a pullback, you want to see 246.38 and 245 fail as support. Those levels fail, will likely drop down to 240.5-ish area, and below that would put IWM in false breakout mode and we can expect a $5 to $15 drop to the downside. And last but certainly not least, here is the VIX. It's pulling back. I do have a support level around 17. These are updated levels, guys, so make sure you update your charts if you're using Uncle's levels. But 17 is support. If it fails, we can expect more downside down to 15.5-ish and 14.4-ish. But if it's bounce time, I will only trust the bounce from 17 when resistant levels clear. The resistant level I'll be watching is 19, 21.3, 22.7, and 24. Those are my resistant levels. So if it is a bounce, if it's time for a bounce, those are the levels you want to see clear. Otherwise, below 17, expect more downside. And the DarkPool level is at 675.13. It was 679.8 million in premium. So above it, we stay bullish bounce mode, and below it, it is time to get bearish. Once again, happy Thanksgiving to you all. I am so thankful for you guys being here, hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. Thank you for doing that, and I'm definitely thankful for my extended family in the Discord. I love you guys so much. Enjoy your weekend. I will see y'all Sunday.